your shit if you ain't ready to get hit.
Well, allow me to drop some knowledge.
I have to disagree. I saw the Sailor Moon outfit.
I heard you were back.
I'm going to Mandalore.
Hey everybody. There.
Yeah. What's going on? Put that there. There we go.
Hi guys. What's going on? How are you today? I'm sorry. Trying to fix this view. Is my table? My joint is too close to my table.
Careful, picture.
For those watching, here's my new piece. I love him. Look at how adorable is that. All right, let me turn this on before they throw me off again. Yesterday we did this, guys, but I kind of got thrown off Instagram for the music playing in the background, which is kind of corny, but that's how they do. So here's part 2, even better, because Miss Savage can join us today. What's going on, my BMF Army? It's your favorite Jedi, the BMF Goddess. I am honorably joined today by my new 2 duo tattoo artists, owners of Tattoo Kingdom in the Bronx. Definitely check them out. I highly recommend. All the info for them will be added to this video tomorrow on YouTube. So first, I want to say thanks to you guys to be open to do this. I think it's very important for people to get all this information from people who actually know what they're doing and really study their craft. Because people are mutilating themselves every day, making the wrong choices and mistakes, you know. So this stuff is just as important as any other podcast or topic. So you wanna, each of you, just introduce yourself a little bit. Talk a little bit about yourself.
Sure, ladies first.
So yes. As from before, my name is Savannah Savage. I am a tattoo artist as well as piercer of Tattoo Kingdom. I have 9-year experience with piercings as well as 13 years of tattooing. Specialties as far as skill sets, I love color art and just anything sci-fi related. I do black and gray, but my heart is in color. And when it comes to, you know, piercings, I do about all of them, you know what I'm saying? My thing is, quality is always key when it comes to working with me, and I just made a rhyme.
Hey, that was fire.
Tattoo Kingdom is awesome. Thanks for the love, everybody whoever's joining, do leave your questions or comments below. They will answer you live. Somebody said they couldn't hear. Try to put the sound up on your phone, or guys, just, I mean, I can hear you fine, but
Okay. It's probably because it echoes a little bit where we have our phone held up, probably too. So
yeah.
You hear us? You hear us?
I'm gonna move a little closer, if anything.
Okay, let's do it a little closer. All right, so since you introduced yourself, I'm going to introduce myself. I am David Styles. They call me the Phenomenal One, fortunately. I've been tattooing for 18 years.
They both have years on the.
Yeah. I specialize in cover-ups, black and gray, anything realism, basically anything you throw at me I could possibly do.
Better on the sound. Okay, cool.
Thank you. And yeah, that's it. Been doing it for 18 years all over the tri-state area. Now I got my own shop with my lovely wife right here, and we're making it happen.
So let's start at the beginning, of course. How old were you each? And every question that I do aim at you guys is for you to answer individually, okay? How old were you guys when you started drawing? Like,
I have drawings honestly from like middle school stature. So honestly, when I was like, I want to say between the ages of 11 to 13, I was starting. I love drawing Pokemon, anime, like Sailor Moon and stuff like that. I literally have composition books filled with those drawings where, you know, just as a skill set to practice knowing about different shapes and just seeing how my eyesight can mimic that, what I see, and then replicate it on paper kind of thing. Because that's always where it can start out, you know, at least to expand your mind to hand kind of technique, if anything. So, because I didn't go to school for art. Personally, I didn't go to school. I didn't have many art classes growing up. So,
so that's a natural gift, baby. Self-taught.
Yeah. So, you know, I love to draw. I was to a point, younger years, I wanted to be part of like the Museum of Natural History. That was my first goal in the art career. It wasn't really becoming a tattoo artist. That came as an older thing, you know what I'm saying? Because I had friends that did tattoos and I was really intrigued by it. And I was like, you know, a different updated way to make, you know, some money and do what I love, or at least a starting point to it.
Right.
And that's how that happened, you know?
Nice. As for me, according to my mom, I've been drawing since I was a baby. She gave me a piece of paper and I was drawing shapes that she didn't even know I knew about. So started with Ninja Turtles and all those cartoons back in the 80s, like, you know, Slimer or whatnot, from Ghostbusters, and I just kept on drawing, and she just kept on giving me books and books, and she's like, let me see what you could do with this, let me see what you could do with that, and then I just kept on going, and I never stopped. So I kept
and how did you get to tattooing?
What happened?
How did it lead you to tattooing?
How did it go all the way to tattooing? Well, I kept on drawing all the way to college, and then I started doing an internship with Marvel Comics. I started doing illustrations with them, and we had a little group that they told me, hey, this career won't last that long, so how about going to tattooing? And of course, you know, I was a little skeptical because, you know, it's a difference between drawing on paper and then drawing on skin.
Yeah.
Skin moves and it's elastic and all that. So I was very scared in joining the tattoo world, but eventually did it. And it was pretty successful so far.
Hot India said, don't forget to tell me about your scholarship. What's that about?
It's actually my mom. Hi, Mom. Thank you.
Oh, hi, Mom.
I have gotten art scholarships from junior high into high school that got me into like drawing contests, and I kept on winning, and you know, it just kept on blossoming from there when it came to my art.
That's fun. Hi, India. Thank you for breeding such a talent.
Yeah.
Smelia said, you're braver than me. I could never get a tattoo. I'm afraid of needles. What do you tell people? Because I know you hear that a lot.
Yeah.
What do you tell those people?
Well,
it's not like doctor's needles.
It's not the same. It's really not the same. I could understand the fear of the needles, but I also have clientele that have fear of needles, and they still get piercings. So I mean, in anything that's a fear, you have to grow into it or grow at least above it to at least experience handling it. You know what I'm saying? And at the end of the day, when it comes to tattooing, it's not really puncturing. It does puncture the skin, but not to the velocity the way you would draw blood.
Yeah.
You know, drawing the blood, you would have to stick the needle through all the layers of skin to then get into the nerves and stuff like that. So that's pretty deep. That's already going into like a ½ inch margin if you want to be really descriptive with it. Versus tattooing, we're only grazing like 3 to 5 layers of the skin, which feels more like a paper cut and a cat scratch, honestly. Yeah. So that fear can always be changed. You know what I'm saying? It can always be altered so that way you can strengthen through it and either get a piercing or a tattoo.
It's all about comfortability too. We make people comfortable too to get it done.
Also, my sister had a tattoo. I'm trying to read also what this person's writing too.
Also, my sister has a tattoo and she had negative reactions to the ink.
Well, that's something that tattoo artists actually have to have knowledge of. Yeah. See, the thing is that true tattoo artists will always upgrade themselves as far as the knowledge for what things can happen when it comes into a medical standpoint too, such as we're not supposed to tattoo people that are diabetic because the diabetics have a slower healing process when it comes to tattoos. So if they're actually if they have a slow process with tattooing, it'll take almost 3 months for a tattoo to heal. And if they don't take care of it properly, that leads to an infection. Same thing with lupus. I'm not sure a lot of tattoo artists know about that, but when it comes to the sickness of having lupus, they can't have certain colors because the thing is that certain colors are actually made with certain pigments or certain things that their body just can't digest when it comes to filtering out the pigmentation and stuff like that. So they can't have reds or anything even closely relatable to red. Sometimes some people it's the other way around and it can be blue hues and stuff like that. So blues, purples, anything that's a cooler tone. So honestly,
oh my gosh, that's scary. I didn't know that. That's interesting, but I wouldn't.
That goes to show the difference between people that are in the field versus people that aren't. Because when I put myself into this industry, I wanted to know everything about it, especially in that kind of field. It's just like being a doctor. Kind of, you know, you're dealing with the skin, you're dealing with anatomy. You have to deal with people that have eczema, and some people can't even get tattoos because they have eczema. So, you know, you can't be a tattoo artist and expect that everyone is the same. That is the misconception in this industry. A lot of people that are just for the money always just treat everybody like cattle, and that's not the way it should be. You know what I'm saying? You got to know what you're dealing with as far as a person. That's how you could spread other diseases, especially with people that have HIV too. That's a bloodborne disease that when you're getting tattooed, you should not be reusing needles. You have to make sure everything is very sterile because if their blood, you know, their blood can contaminate. So, you know, this is always something to look out for, which is why it's so dangerous that there are people out here getting tattoos just from any random person, and you're not seeing the skill sets and prerequisites. The people aren't even asking for a tattoo license, and they should because it is out there.
Yeah, it's so common for people not to check for all of these things that there are so many risks.
Yeah, absolutely. And especially when it comes to ink, getting a reaction of the ink could also be for the fact that the tattoo artist is negligent and the ink could be expired or it could be not FDA approved. So my thing is,
look at that. I didn't even know it can expire. That's crazy.
Yeah, and that's the problem with the industry. There are a lot of tattoo artists out there that are what I consider gatekeeping information on people, when in reality that should not be gatekept. That should honestly be informed with people, because just like if a doctor is telling you you're going to see a doctor about an issue and they're telling you everything you need to do to avoid that issue or heal from it, tattoo artists should be the same way. It's a knowledge thing. It's not like you're teaching them how to tattoo. You're teaching them the safety requirements, which is definitely a thing that should be done.
Oh my God. I'm going to start calling you guys the tattoo doctors.
Tattoos.
No, listen, at the end of the day, what's right is right when it comes to the industry, and there's a lot of things wrong in the tattoo industry. That being said, that nobody's giving necessary information that needs to be. I'm sure there's a lot of fan base right now hearing this out, and they're like, oh my God, just like you, like it expires. Oh my God, the illness. And it's like, that's and that's what makes it really sad. Especially for me, because like I said, I've been in this industry for already 13 years. And the fact that the industry hasn't gotten better is like, it's a little sad. I mean, there are people out there that are doing right by it, which is great. But of the majority that are in certain states, it's a little.
That's real talk. So tell us about you guys. How you because I had spoke to him yesterday and I asked them, did you guys meet before or during tattooing? So you want to tell everybody the story
Yeah, I'll
real
I'll
quick?
tell a little bit of the story. I know David's told you like some parts. I'm sorry. I'm just
Tattoo
noticing that the light is so dark over here. You're so bright and stuff. It's like, and it's gotta be so pretty. Yeah. So.
I feel the same
There you
way.
go. Perfect.
That Jesus said after dealing with David and Savannah, I won't go anywhere else. I feel the same way. Yesterday was the first of many.
Yeah, it's definitely a new era when it comes to tattooing with us. We are strictly appointment based. Why? Because, we like to cater to the individual per se that we're working with. We try to make sure that they know everything when it comes to the tattooing process. We try to keep them comfortable. This is not a no secrets when it comes to us. If you guys have any questions, we always answer it to the best of our capability. But when it comes, of course, to, learning how to tattoo, you gotta go into a schooling for that kind of thing, or at least have the tactic of knowing how to draw. At least that.
Always draw.
But as far as for us, how we met, being in the tattooing industry as a female, I'm gonna speak more on a female perspective, honestly, was rough. I was going from shop to shops because when I was starting in the industry, it was tattooing is more of a male-dominated field than females, in all honesty. But back in my era, we're going 2009, 2008. Yeah, that machismo energy was really bad because it was either people were trying to teach me for favors, like sexual favors kind of thing. I wasn't for that. And they'd get mad at me and then shun me away. Then I had others that were, I'm like a sponge. So I was learning pretty fast. And when they saw how determined I was, they saw how good quality my work was, they felt threatened. And then they kicked me out the shop, or one time my equipment got stolen. So it was, yeah.
Oh my God.
And when I mean equipment, they took my machines, they took my ink, they took everything. Everything. So, it was
I'm sorry you went through that. But I know that it made you stronger for it.
Yeah.
I can tell.
Yeah, absolutely. So during that time, my last quit with being an apprentice with my teacher, I decided to talk to a couple of artists, just show them my portfolio work. Didn't tell them how much experience I had. I just wanted to let them know, hey, out of a personal experience, do you think I have what it takes to work in a shop, and stuff like that? Because I was working at home, but doing things that I knew I had the capability of doing. See, there's one thing, I'm not going to shun house artists. What I will shun is, if you have been in the industry for 20 years, you should not be working from home. You should be already in an industry. My thing is that when you're a shop artist, have the space for it, because I had the space, I used my equipment and everything. And then, as I got better and I wanted to get more advanced, I would ask the artists. And 2 artists said, you know what, you got what it takes. Go to a shop. So I was like, okay, cool. So I stayed local. And that's when I saw Tattoo Kingdom awning. So I went to his shop, and I basically, I put everything on the table because that's really how I am. I'm the type that when I want something, especially if I want to be that one for that position, it's like I'm going to let you know all my accolades. So I showed him my tattoo portfolio. I also showed him my art portfolio as well as my wood burning portfolio, and basically expressed to him, I'm like, listen, I did piercings at the side too. So that way I expressed to him, I'm like, I'm a very ambidextrous person. I do tattoos. I'm also a piercer. And I also do comic cons and sell my art. So I'm pretty manageable. I'm like, you hiring? So it was a back and forth at first. And then he hired me. So that was basically it.
Yeah.
Tattoo match made in heaven. Can you explain to us a little bit of what the wood burning is?
Oh, well, the wood burning, I could actually show a little example too somewhere probably. Hold on.
Yes, I've seen some of her pieces in the shop. Amazing.
Yeah. Definitely.
She taught me how to wood burn. Yeah, I'm good in all mediums, but when she came in with the wood burning, I was like, "That's different. Can I try it?"
For real. It doesn't look easy.
Oh no, it's definitely not. The first time I tried it,
Sarah.
I sucked.
Yeah, but the wood burning is basically taking like a hot soldering tool and then just going at different temperatures and burning the wood, kind of like doing stuff like this
Oh my
and stuff like that.
God. How much? Now that's
Well,
fire.
this actually has to get finished colored and stuff like
I
that. But
know.
normally something like
I'm
this,
a big
like
Mario
almost
fan.
2 hands, if you will. Something like this I sell for like $30 and stuff like that.
That's so cool.
I also do commissions, but that's how I started in the Comic-Con world. I
Right.
would do little art pieces like on the side. So, but like I said, the technique is really just taking a hot soldering tool, charring it to a certain layer and a certain consistency that you like, and then you could pretty much do anything with it. You could shade, do outline. I've done portraits. I'm right now in the process also of working with a Dremel, so I can also add embroidered.
Like a 3D look.
Yeah, it's basically carve it out to give it a 3-dimensional effect. So I've been trying to upscale and change my art.
Try to do
How
something different out here.
How India said Savannah, she's an amazing woman overall. I do agree. We connected on the empath level yesterday, and I definitely feel her aura is awesome. Davidson,
Thank you.
that Jesus says Savannah, my Mario friends look cool. Oh, he got one.
Yeah.
Yeah, Doris. Well, the De Jesus 6108. She's a client of actually both of ours, and she just recently got tattooed by me. She participated in the Valentine's Day flash sale, where she got like 3 gnomes and stuff like that. So I also touched up like some of her other earlier work because she got a tattoo from Las Vegas that was horrendous. Yeah, because it's one of those where she got charged $160 for it, and it's literally about this small.
Oh no.
And it didn't hit a year yet, and it was about to hit a year in a couple months, and it was already faded like it was 5 years old.
It's like 5-6 years old.
And it's not even a year old. So yeah, so I basically just touched it up and everything like that, and everything. She's like, "Oh, my skin, it was a weed." Yeah, I compared it to like the dandelions before they turn into the little poofy balls. They turn into the yellow flower first. So like, it kind of looked like that, and it was supposed to be a sunflower. So I was like, no, we got to make this look like a sunflower, girl. Can't tolerate
it. Happens to the best of us.
No, absolutely.
All right, guys. Serious question. What are some of the pros and cons that you guys feel when it comes to you tattooing? What's the best, more or less, what's the best part of your craft, and what's the not so best?
All right, so let me answer that one. The pros definitely is when people come in with their stories of what they want as the image of, their tattoo, and it has a story behind it. I love that because it makes, to me, I feel like when I get invested in your story, the tattoo comes out a lot more better than normal. So
Right.
It surprises a lot of people because they'll be like, "Oh wow, I didn't think it could come out that way," and it'll come out way better. As for the cons, people that like to haggle, you know what I'm saying? You come in with some Gucci shoes, you come in with the Louis Vuitton belts, with the 1,000 chains, and then be like, "Hey, I want this big tattoo on my arm," and we give you a price of $250, $300, and you're like, "Oh."
Because they have very good pieces, guys.
Yeah, man.
And don't haggle.
Yeah,
like,
haggle is bad.
Trust.
You don't haggle for Jordans.
That's what I was just gonna specify too. If you
don't
don't go
haggle for
to
Jordans.
a sneaker store, and I know there are a lot of people that are sneakerheads out here. You guys don't haggle the corporate markets or haggle the people at Champs, people selling it. "Oh, well, can you do this price?" No, you guys willingly wait outside for 3 days before the sale, before they come out, because they're limited editions and stuff like that. Y'all will wait out in your tents with your porta potties and everything like that 3 days before the shoe's gonna come out, and pay it willingly, no questions asked.
Exactly.
So that should not be the same thing when it comes, if you're not doing that there, you shouldn't do that with your skin. Because on top of that, this is a permanent stuff. And if you're not willing to invest in your body, then just don't do it, or wait, or at least wait.
Yeah. There's always those people that are indecisive also. The indecisive people that are like, oh, I want this, but wait, I like that one better. But that, oh, I like this one. You know, there's so many ideas in the mind.
That's a,
I think you should do your homework before you even go to the shop. Like, just have something in mind already.
Absolutely.
I could see where that could be annoying.
con also. Don't act like you know more than your artist.
That's another one.
Don't act like you have no more than your artist, because it's very rude. It's very rude, because just because you've watched the show Ink Master does not mean you are an ink master in the skill set. It does not mean you know more than, yes, because there are a lot of people that have come into the shop and they go like, oh, well, I saw Ink Master, so I know you do this,
Well,
I do that. I do that.
says,
So yeah, it's
I
like,
believe it.
yeah, you have people that do that. I mean, oh man, if I was to say a pro to tattooing is the fact that you help people heal. That's definitely one, because we go through a lot of people that they have some traumatic experiences and they want something expressive as far as an art piece to help with that. So it's always that always makes me feel good, especially. Another pro with it is that sometimes we end up becoming a little bit of therapists. So especially when it comes to couples, especially when it's been dealt with couples, we have certain couples that they'll argue right then and there in front of us, and we have to try and part it away. Like, no, listen, you did this, like,
Uncomfortable.
yeah, it's very crazy, Yeah, literally. But it's a good pro to it, because we get to, being that we're of a neutral party, it's like we get to let the person know, all right, listen, I understand that. I understand where you're coming from, but understand where this person's coming from too. So we kind of open their eyes, or what I would say is we kind of pop their bubble, because I feel like everybody has a bubble of ego around their head. And it takes a certain variety of a person to really pop it, to really get through to the person. That's when you really know that you kind of found the person you're with, because if you can accept that of what they say and listen and learn and change, good feeling.
Absolutely.
So
Since you brought that up, you guys gotta tell these stories again. Let's start with you. When you had to tattoo the guy's thigh in front of his girlfriend.
That's a definite con. I'm gonna say it just like this. That's a definite con, because my thing is that if you're in a relationship, I don't care if it's the female or the male, because both parties get jealous.
Yeah.
Do not come to the shop with your jealous partner. Do not come to the shop with your jealous partner, because that pertains to with this story. I barely get thigh tattoos. David's more of the thigh. Not that I don't do them, but my clientele are not interested in thigh tattoos at the moment. So until this one guy came in, and I did an Atlas tattoo right on the front of his thigh. So his girlfriend was with him, or they were still kind of new, kind of thing. They were only a couple months. But my thing is that I'm tattooing him, and she sits like this close to me, like literally, where our thighs touched. Our thighs touched and everything, and I'm just like tattooing, and I'm like, so this is what awkwardness feels like.
Can you imagine somebody over your shoulder like,
but she's really nice, because I would have been like, really? And you're like, really? This is where you're doing.
I really tried to keep it professional. My patience is very good when it comes to
I
people.
understand that. Yeah.
But I was like, okay. And it didn't help that when it came to him, he was really saying unnecessary comments. Like the one that was ridiculous to just say was that he's like, I'm tattooing, and mind you, I'm tattooing close to a certain area, a certain appendage and stuff like that. And he's like, I don't know what it is about tattoos, but they turn me on. And I'm like, my God damn, like if common sense wasn't so common, this is a prime example of that. Like, and it's just like, she said that. I already felt the heat of the dragon right next to me, and it just made it that much worse. And I'm like, I'm just an innocent bystander here trying to do a tattoo and make some money. I ain't trying to do no Jerry Springer shit right now. And it's just terrible. We've also had clientele where their partner is trying to get a tattoo, and then all of a sudden their partner's calling our telephone, freaking trying to figure out if they're here. And I'm the one that you know,
Oh
and
my God. That's
yeah,
worth it.
and I feel bad for the people that go through this because I'm like, damn, you're with this person and this person's acting like that. But if the shoe was on the other foot, I know they wouldn't want to be treated like that too. So it's like, why would you do it to your partner? But yeah, we've had some doozies, like, and for some reason, it always ends up with me.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, it's just crazy. And I tell people right off the bat, I'm like, listen, my husband is right here working with me. Like, I don't have time. I'm gonna go like, oh yeah, you're so hot, right? He's right here. Like, really? Like, come on. The idiocy that goes into people's minds when it comes to their jealousy is really crazy. Like,
Yeah.
it has gotten so bad where, yeah, like, to me, it's like you shouldn't be putting an insinuation in your head, rolling with it, manifesting it into something, and then you end up either losing your relationship because of it, and then you look like a dummy.
Yeah.
Like, don't do it.
Don't try it.
You know, but yeah, jealous partner, definitely do not bring them to get your tattoo because then they'll either want you to get their name tattooed on them, and I'm not for that. Mm-mm.
No names, guys.
No,
Please.
no names.
Dave had a penis story.
Yes. So, here we go. Let me get to share it with you guys, all you guys now. So, years ago, about maybe, I'm going to say 10 years ago, I had about 8 years experience. I was working at Harlem, and early in the morning, maybe 10:30 in the morning, lady came in with a big folder of pictures, folders of pictures. So I thought she wanted a portrait, which she did want a portrait. She did say that. And
Weird.
when she showed me the pictures, it was photo photography, like A1 pictures of her husband's penis. Yes, side view, left and right, up and down, front view, side view, whatever it is. She had it all. She said she wanted it tattooed on her. And I'm like, okay. I thought this was a joke. I thought I was getting punked, but obviously I wasn't. So she was very dead serious. She was like, I wanted black and gray on my thigh, like if I had a dick. So I'm like, oh, man. I'm looking at my boss, and he's like, do it. Just do it. I'm like, all right. So I got
Make that bread.
Make that bread, right? Yeah. So I did it, as uncomfortable as I was, she was there, make it veiny, make sure that vein is prominent, make sure it has hair on it. Like, she was very meticulous with it. And while I was almost done, the funniest part was the guy comes in, her husband comes in, and I'm tattooing, so this is me right here. He's like, that's a nice looking penis. It looks very familiar. I'm like, oh, it made it more worse for me. So I'm like, damn. It's the first and last penis tattoo I've ever done. It was probably the best one I've ever done.
Oh my goodness.
Oh man, I hope nobody asks me for penises after this.
So, what are your favorite things to tattoo? And is there anything like you won't do or don't like?
I don't do clouds. That is my number one pet peeve. Don't
No
ask me for
clouds.
Yes. Look up in the sky and you'll see some clouds. But I'm not going to do it for you.
But why? Why don't you do clouds?
Oh my God. From the beginning of my career, I just did nothing but cloud backgrounds. Like, you could get one little tiny chat and then I want clouds all over it. Like, come on.
Yeah,
man.
the basketball fetish, a lot of inspiration when it comes to the cloud designs is definitely based off of the NBA players.
Yes.
Because they use a lot of that as a filler or even as a design itself, which makes no sense because at the end of the day, when you're trying to do a background, it's always better to have your main component of pieces done first. And then whatever little area you have, then you could do clouds, you could do other fillers. But to have just a bunch of marshmallows, a bunch of like upside down
I've seen people with them. Yes.
Yes.
Look
It's crazy how people make a living just off of doing that specific tattoo. It's crazy. What do you like to do?
I love doing cover-ups. For some reason, that's like my best thing that I've specialized in, cover-ups. Some people come in with some terrible looking tattoos, and for me, I'm like, I can't let you walk outside like that. I'm sorry, I can't.
It's extra special to a dope piece over it, isn't it?
Yeah, it's very satisfying for me and the client when they get something brand spanking new and it changes their whole life. Like it really does.
It's also better than
That
figuring it.
was the cloud.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, everybody likes to mess with him when it comes to that.
Oh
All of
my
our clients,
God.
all of our loyal clients, they always like to make that joke about getting a cloud from David and stuff like that. Let me see.
That means Savannah does cloud.
I do clouds. I don't have a problem with clouds.
She does
I
clouds. It's fine.
I haven't done enough clouds to hate them. I haven't done a lot of any. Well, that's not true. There are certain designs I've done a lot of where I'm just sick and tired of them because to me they don't serve a real purpose. But to each his own. I'll still do them. You know what I'm saying? Because I'd rather do them and make them come out right than have someone else do them wrong.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, my thing is that I have a big issue with the biblical verses. And the reason why is because you have clientele that come in and they want to show me like over 100 words that they want to do on the back of their calf or on just a little area like this, 100 words. So I'm not trying to make this look like it's rat feet on your hand. You know, I'm not trying to make the letters that small, but some people just don't have the concept or acceptance of the fact that that is not possible. I look for quality in people's work. And unfortunately, when it comes to certain biblical verses, that is just too long to be having on your body. And that's where I draw the line a little bit on that. When it comes to certain lettering styles, like with the verses, I'm like, no. You know, if you get like one sentence of a poem or a quote, that's fine. We can make it legible where it's going to last you those 5 years and stuff like that. That's always
2 pages of the book.
Yeah, I can't with that one. But overall, what I do love is I love anything that's unique, anything that's a sci-fi orient or floral, like what you have seen on my wood burns, like anything that has like a story to tell. Because the whole purpose of art is to make your mind think and make your mind work. So, you know, that's to me is my thing. I want, when it comes to my art for tattoos, it's like I want you to look at that person like, hey, that's a dope piece. What was your inspiration for that? You know, and then it leads up to conversation kind of thing. So custom pieces are always a thing for me, more on the sci-fi kind of realm. So I like dark arts, gothic fantasy, mermaids, all that kind of stuff. That's always my go-to.
You know, I've always wanted to do. I'm a big zombie fan. I love zombies, spiders.
I would love to do a pinup zombie.
That's me. I want a zombie pinup. Which one of you specialize in?
She'll take it.
That's what we're doing.
Yeah, listen, if you want to use a picture even of yourself to convert yourself into a zombie girl, I could do that for you as well. So
that would be fire.
Yeah, I'm always trying to think outside the box. You know, there are always clientele that come to us with Pinterest drawings, and I can't stand that. Like Pinterest, Google, like that's a definite con for me from like one of the previous questions. I'm like, get custom stuff. Don't get something that someone else has. Because you never know what that person was going through to get that tattoo. And then you have it and it's like, oh, well, I just thought it was cool. And it's, no, it makes you ignorant. You could have something similar to it, or we can replicate something where it fits your needs. You know what I'm saying? Don't just get something like, well, I want that. And I'm like, no. Because I'll be the type like, no, let's do something a little different.
Oh, yeah.
Right. That's why when I gave my designs to Dave, I was like, you know, put your own flair into it because I didn't want the exact same thing as the picture.
No, absolutely. Even when we do Friday the 13th sales, where it's literally a flash sale, so everybody's getting like the same thing, we still try to shade it a little differently or add a little something to it to make it unique for that person. I remember one time I did like these little skull in a light bulb kind of thing, and I did 5 of them, and they were all different. Some of them were shaded a certain way, some were added like a little galaxy in the back, but everybody had their own individual light bulb.
Yep.
That's how you do it. Okay. Tips for aspiring tattoo artists.
Okay. You're always going to be learning. Don't ever think you're a master.
Never stop
Because,
learning.
yeah, don't have that ego. Humble yourself, especially humbling yourself around clientele and other artists. My thing is just know what you want to do in the industry, but know that you have to start somewhere before you get to your goal set. You know what I'm saying? There are a lot of artists here that think that they can do portraits, but yeah, you've never drawn a portrait in your life, so that's not how it runs. You know what I'm saying? You gotta keep your skill set fair and understand where you're coming from in the industry, and don't think like these people, like I said, in Ink Master, that watch it and then they think they know everything. That, I feel, is the problem with today's generation of artists. It's the ego.
Yeah.
The ego of when they have that title of tattoo artist, they think that they're superior when it comes to the industry, and they really aren't. You know what I'm saying? And that's at least my main thing. You know, humble yourself as an artist. Always know that you will be constantly learning, because this is a field where you're constantly learning. It's just like doctors. Doctors are constantly learning. You're always having to update. They always have to update their masters to know what's new in the medical field, whether it's with the medicine or the technique to do a certain procedure, anything. At the end of the day, you know, you're never going to know how to do black and gray from the start. You'll learn how to smooth it out through practice. You'll learn how to color blend better with practice and also through studying. So to think that, you know, just gotta understand that logic. Like it's a learning curve, a constant hell of learning. You're never gonna stop. You're never gonna master it right off the bat.
Yeah. Also, always draw. Continue to draw everything from start to finish. Drawing is essential when it comes to being a tattoo artist, because if you don't know how to draw, you just think you're just a tracer. This is not a business of tracing, what people think that it is, but it's not. It's about skill and art.
I'm going to piggyback off of that statement. I'm going to piggyback off of that statement in a true thing that happened, because we're also convention artists. Convention artists, there are also tattoo conventions that are around the state, globally, and even locally. So we recently went to a tattoo convention in New York. It was in the Hilton Hotel by like past Times Square kind of thing. I think it's in the 50s.
Heard about it.
Yeah, so when we went there was hardly any kind of artist that had their own custom art.
All the same.
Yeah, there was a select dime a dozen. Yeah, everyone that was at that convention was a black and gray artist. And when it came to their, you know, the way they do their displays and stuff like that, or their portfolio work, everything was the same. Same tigers, same designs like of the roses. Everything looked exactly the same. But then when you looked at their table to say, okay, well, can I see your custom flash? Some of them didn't even have any. Or if they did have it, it was definitely stuff that you have already seen on a person already.
Yeah.
So that was exactly the exposure that kind of situation talks about when it comes to being a tracer. If you're trying to be a tattoo artist just to be in it for the money, you're a tracer. Artist is a definition of doing art. So at the end of the day, you have to draw custom pieces. You're drawing stuff on a daily basis because everybody, you know, there's some people that don't have imagination. So you're that go-to. You're that goal to become the imagination for the person if they're trying to get something custom.
With the imagination station, damn it.
Yeah, and at that convention, I was not happy. It was like, if you went down the line, it was like going into a gym, because the space is pretty big. But in the gym, you just saw all the same, black and gray, black and gray. And then it was like the minute, I want to say there was only like 2% of artists that were totally there. Mind you, there's 3 floors at this convention. 3 floors.
Wow.
So to have only like 2% as custom artists with their own custom flash, they had custom flash, custom pins. They had their art on sweaters. They had their art on shirts. Why couldn't everybody else be like that?
That's cool.
Yeah, so that's
a lot, though.
Yeah.
And
So,
about it.
you know, and it's like, you know, every artist can be great and stuff like that. You can have artists that are tracers all their life. But my thing is that let's see what you have in your mind. Let's see what you have in your mindset, you know? But I can't speak for everybody.
Yeah.
You ever get somebody tattoo someone else's name and came back to cover it?
All the time. All the time. Yeah.
What
We have literally
right about that?
I had a span of a week. Somebody One story I can say is that this newlywed got together to get name tattoos. The guy got his girl's name from here to here, really big, while his girl was gonna get a little one in the wrist or whatnot. And while I was doing him, her face was like so, oh my God, this kind of thing. I'm wondering why. Come to find out, a week later, he came back talking about, can you cover this up? I found out that my wife had cheated on me. So I was like, yo,
Wow.
wow.
You had also a similar situation with a young couple too.
Another young couple.
Like
yeah.
they weren't even together for a whole year. They got their names like right here. One got it with a queen tiara, and the other got it with the king crown.
Yeah.
And he literally came back the very next day after doing the tattoo, saying, "Yo, I need to cover this shit up." She got another guy. Another guy is getting her pregnant. I found out she's having somebody else's baby, kind of thing.
It was wild.
It was wild. So I'm
Don't
like,
do it, guys.
That's why
yeah.
I became a cover-up artist. That's the main reason why I became a cover-up artist.
No, it's true. It's true. Oh, we gotta find a charger.
I had two of those. I mean, you would never know. I had one under this, and I had one under this.
Oh, okay.
Gotcha.
Good cover-ups.
Well, one of them was supposed to be like a family member, but the other one was just plain stupid. If it's not your family member, somebody deceased, or, I definitely do not condone it. Don't do it.
Yeah,
It's just
name tattoos, I would never suggest them unless like they're your children's name and stuff like that. So, because a tattoo is not really going to keep the relationship together. I even hate to say it like this, because we're in this generation that not even children keep relationships together. As I hate to say it like that, but it's kind of true. Yeah. And my thing is that if that doesn't work, a tattoo sure as hell won't. And that's why you shouldn't there are people that try to trap people, to mess with them mentally. It's very sad because I see it a lot. We get people that come in and they're couples trying to get a tattoo, but the partner will try to be a snake in the grass and leave early or have a problem and then not show up to the tattoo, leaving that person with the tattoo of their name. And then they'll break up with them like a little bit at a time to keep them mentally frustrated with the tattoo. So it's like, you gotta be careful who your friends are and who your partners are in all reality when it comes to shit like that, because that's just maniacal.
They did discuss changing the discrimination laws for workplaces, the laws that are based on age, gender identity, ethnicity. They are supposed to add people with tattoos to that. That way, when you are applying for a job, they cannot deny you based on your tattoo. It hasn't gone through yet, but I hope it does soon, because I'm sure you guys have experienced this as well, and people who are watching, being somebody with tattoos, being discriminated against in some type of form or manner, people looking at you different. How do you guys feel about that?
I think that's I'm trying to say it in a professional manner, but it's so hard to think of the words.
Nobody should really discriminate on people.
Your skill set shouldn't be reflected off of what your skin shows. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, I'm sorry, I have actual clients that are bankers, actual clients that are lawyers, and all kinds of things like that, and they are tatted up. I mean, like real big sleeves you would never know, except of course, they don't have anything on the cuff. So my thing is that judgment's a very serious thing when it comes to anything, and tattoos should never be, an issue for anyone. I know there are a lot of people, when it comes to the religious background, that's the main issue we get. That's always the harsh judgment. But at the end of the day, it's like, doesn't your God say to love everybody and love all, kind of thing? So where's the hypocrisy in judging someone for tattoos? You know what I'm saying? It's just, don't hate, love each other, love one another. It's a very good conversation. You never know what somebody's going through because they have the tattoos that they have. So you should never really judge anyone in general.
Right.
But it's crazy though, because even in certain countries, that shit still goes on. There are certain countries that they relate tattoos to being a hoodlum or being a criminal and stuff like that. And it's like, really? Like, really? We're gonna be that ignorant?
Yeah.
And on the other side of the spectrum, there are some countries that it's normal to alter your body. Like
Oh,
in some
absolutely. Listen, in history,
yeah.
there are bodies that have been discovered, mummies and all kinds of things like that. Cavemen people that have tattoos on their literal bone. It's like it's been tattooed so deep. You know what I'm saying? So if you're finding all this stuff out in history and complaining about it now,
Come on.
no, that's it. No, you can't do that. You can't pick and choose when you wanna be a dick. You know?
I feel like I know some of the people that are freaking covered up head to toe, and they're the sweetest, most coolest people that you ever fucking meet.
Absolutely.
You know, I just lost my train of thought. Okay.
It's all right.
It's okay.
We're doing it live, baby.
Yeah. Yeah, the judgment.
You know, you can never judge somebody from the extremity at all.
No, we have clients that are in the medical field, and they tell us stories which are hilarious about them taking care of certain elderly people, and the elderly people don't want to be touched by them because they go like, "Oh, you have tattoos. I don't want to go to hell because you touched me." And I'm like,
what?
No.
They're the best tattoo, the best doctors that you have.
Yeah, it's
Now, my dad's old school Dominican, so he absolutely hates every mark on my body.
Like, mira, muchacha.
He called me like because he thinks I'm trying to be hip hop. That's his way of saying, "Oh, you trying to be African or something?" Like, I don't know. I don't know. Old school Dominican, but he hates it. He's definitely one of those that are stereotyping.
That's wild.
For me, definitely, I call getting tattooed my therapy. Period. Some people do this. I do these. It's therapy. Period. When I went into the shop yesterday, I was able to talk to Savannah Savage and Dave Styles, and they made me feel comfortable. It's definitely therapy. You get to talk. You know, Dave is actually very light-handed. I haven't gone with Savannah yet, but for Smelly, I don't know if you're still watching, but not painful at all. But yeah, ink therapy.
Yeah.
no, absolutely.
Try to be as light-handed as possible and still put the ink in, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, there's no reason to have brute force when it comes to applying that way when it comes to tattoos. And perfect example, what I mean to say when it came to egos and stuff like that. We hear a lot of stories of clientele expressing to these artists, hey, you're heavy-handed. Hey, you're rough. Oh, it's swollen. Oh, why is the skin looking like that? And they choose not to change. Again, it's in this industry, learn to take criticism, because solely tattoo artists is showing that your ego is more important than the success of you as a tattoo artist, which is absolutely disgusting, because again, it comes to basic ideology of business. If you want people to have you as a recommendation, don't you think you should give them a good experience, something that's worth recommending to another person? A lot of these people are very heavy-handed and they brutalize the skin, and they're like, they try to blame the client that it's their fault, when in reality it's the tattoo artist's fault. Like, so many stories from clientele. This is why we developed the shop that we have, because we are sick and tired of people doing this. You know, if you guys are not willing to change, well, then learn to feel the hurt when we start taking your business, because at the end of the day, we care about our clientele, we care about the quality. And we always tell people too, especially when it comes to tattoos, you know, certain tattoos, you know, if they need a touch up or anything like that, let us know within a month. We will touch it up for free, because you got some scammers out here that want to charge you for a touch up, and you should have been doing the tattoo good to begin with.
Come on now.
Like, what? I can understand. It's just insane.
Jay is actually one of my other co-hosts. Jay says that your tattoos tell stories. Absolutely. Anytime. For me, I don't know if I'm going to try to explain this. And for me, it's pain. The pain from getting the tattoo is like the stress leaving my body. It's like a pain that I don't know how to describe.
It's like meditation. It's like meditation because while you're inhaling all the bullshit, you're trying to exhale it at the same time, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So my thing is that I can understand what you're saying because I'm kind of like that. Whenever I've gone through a traumatic experience that I'm just like over and done with, I want to get a tattoo. Why? Because I would rather feel the physical pain and then exhale it out. But while I'm exhaling, I'm all exhaling the toxicity of the people. So it's like you just, once it's exhaled, that's it. The topic of it is done. I'm not bringing it back into the universe kind of thing. It's time for a new chapter kind of thing. And your new chapter is based off of the tattoo that you get.
Pain is
Absolutely.
It's leaving the body. That's what I say.
Yeah, exactly. That's like this tattoo right here that I got from David.
Oh, that's fine. Who did that one?
He did. He does all my work. So this one, I had just gotten into an issue with my mother. So I kind of put her on my shoulder kind of thing. So she's my tick.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, she's my tick. So eventually we're going to upgrade her. Because she's got only part of her jaw. I plan on putting the rest of her jaw in my armpit. So that way when I choke somebody out, it looks like she's about to eat their neck off and stuff like that.
That's so cool. That's funny because when I got this one, it's a devil. It has my mother's initial. Everybody asks me, why would you get a little devil for your mom? And I'm like, because my mother's the bitch in me. And that's just what it is.
Yeah.
I've had that, type of relationship as well. So that's dope. I love that.
There you go.
Yeah, when it comes, tattooing should be a definite experience. Like whether, some people take it differently. Some people take it spiritually. Some people it's for healing. Others it is to piss off their relatives, because I have a client that her mother is absolutely, she's one of those religious kind of people, very stern, where she doesn't believe in, marking your body. So my thing is that she'll get purposely tattooed because it pisses her off. And she's trying to tell her in a lesson, like, you should love me regardless. It shouldn't be tattoo. You shouldn't have the tattoo affect your perception of me. But with some people, it does.
Yeah,
If I can tell her animal watching over me. Yeah, you see, everybody has spiritual meanings sometimes when it comes to that tattoos. Other people, they're like, oh, well, I just liked it because it was cool. You know what I'm saying?
Right. That's my mom right here. I kiss her every day.
Mm-hmm.
I got a tattoo that says "fuck you, Dad."
My mother's no longer with us, but she got 2 spots right here.
Gotcha.
She always with
What is the common misconception about what you guys do?
that we're expensive.
Right?
That we get all the money.
Yeah.
That we get all the money for ourselves and don't use it and don't realize that when it comes to the price of a tattoo, depending on the shop, you have to either pay a rent or you have to give up a certain percentage of your tattoo so that way the shop can function. How do you expect the shop to function without the rent being paid and electricity? So people need, how do you expect us to get ink? It's not refillable. It's not like we can go to a random store, hey, I want a refill on my red and stuff like that.
And then the right ink, because that's
and the right ink is very expensive. I could show you this bottle of, let's say, this is a perfect example. This is just a gloss. This is a gloss finish for art. But my thing is, it's 4 ounces, okay? A bottle of ink that's 4 ounces for one color is already about, what would you say, about $30?
Yeah.
For one color, for 4 ounces. So if your tattoo has multiple colors in it, takes up time, and it also takes up price that we have to go and buy more for. You know what I'm saying? It can last a long time, but the thing is, on top of that, it's having a balance. It's having a balance with your supplies. And people have this common misconception that, oh, well, you're charging $500. That whole $500 is going to you. No, honey. It's about, with some shops, we're only getting $250 back. So then on top of that, we also have to take out a certain percentage of that $250 to what? Pay taxes. To pay taxes. We are a small business. You end up being a small business, you have to do your own taxes. It's not like when you're working a 9 to 5 that you work that 9 to 5 and you get that check. The shit's already taken out for you. We have to become our own accountants.
Manually.
Yeah, we have to be our own accountants. I have to take out like 30% out of my tattoo, and sometimes that's an extra $100 I gotta take out of that tattoo. you know, so then it goes from 250 to 125. So then I have to balance getting supplies, getting my own food to eat, paying my own rent, stuff like that. Like, people don't have that common awareness of that. They're just, you know,
And
they can fuck their ass.
on top of all of that, they still give you good prices. So don't ever walk in there and, you know, expecting any more than you get already. Which is totally worth it, by the way.
Thank you. But that's definitely a misconception that people have, and that's got to stop. Because again, you don't do that to corporate companies, and mind you, they're making pennies off the dollar, getting this shit made by China and stuff like that, and then they're charging you $500 for a pair of sneakers.
Jesus.
Yeah.
For something that only lasts you about 3 months if you're wearing them. You know what I'm saying? So.
And I know you guys' ink is way more than the ink that because the ink that I use to customize the sneakers, it's expensive as fuck. They about to throw me off though again, but just because our time is up, I want to thank you guys so much. You guys are awesome. Guys, definitely check them out and follow them.
Yeah,
They
Of course.
May the force be with ya.
yeah.